What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It is I, from the GMRS Linked Network. So, this morning, I'm going to go live here, and I'm going to show you guys the difference between a simplex node and a repeater node on the GMRS Linked Network. So I'm going to turn the camera around here, and we're going to start with the simplex node, what we actually sell. The Radio Box SN, what we actually sell at GMRS.network. For those of you on YouTube or Facebook, it's GMRS Group.network. They're one and the same, but fucking Facebook's dick. So I'm going to turn the camera around here and give you guys a little show. Turn this around. We got a good light in here this morning. Let's see if we can turn on a better light though. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the Radio Box SN, simplex node. And, you know, a lot of people ask if this will work without the internet. Can we hook up an outside antenna to get better range with it? And I'm going to answer them two questions right now. Yes, you can buy another little jumper wire or even just an adapter. I recommend just the adapter. I think this little jumper wire is junk. And hook it up to any kind of connection point that you want, run it outside. The downside to that is if you get somebody that is out of range of this radio that you talk on all the time, if you get somebody that's just outside of range of this radio, you're not going to hear it. You're going to be sitting there and all you hear is doot doot. And you're going to be like, what the hell is going on at first? It might startle you, like all you hear is doot doot. And you start moving around, and you might go outside, and all of a sudden you'll hear somebody talking. And you'll be like, what the hell? Why can't I hear this person? Well, because that person is talking directly to this, not talking through a repeater service. It's talking through one radio. This radio handles the whole entire traffic. So how can it transmit at the same time as it's receiving? It's physically impossible. That's why it's called a simplex node. This only will work with the internet, because where else is it going to go? It's only a one-way communication between you and the internet. That is it, between you and the network. So if it has no internet, yeah, sure, you can get the courtesy beep back all day long, but I mean, what fun is that? You know, it's not repeating anywhere. You know, it's literally, if without the internet, it's just a noisemaker at that point. It'll tell you the time. That's about it. But yes, it's a way to market yourself in the area to see if you get any bites. I always recommend start with a better antenna system other than the rubber duck that's on it. Market it out there, let the people hear it, and see if somebody takes a bite. If somebody starts using it, let them use it for a little bit as a simplex node. You don't necessarily need to talk to them. It's a little bit hard that you got somebody local. You find your sweet spot. Maybe you can go upstairs of a house or something and you might be able to hear it. Or you could hook up your own handheld to an antenna, or you might have a base station to be able to talk to the person. But let them use this for a little bit. My experience in the past has been kind of bad. I pulled the trigger with the first user with my duplexer, and I pulled the trigger with that and bought a repeater, and within the person that I bought it to use it with used it only a couple times and then stopped using it. And it's like, well, what the hell? Why did I blow this money on this shit? And I've had this duplexer for about 2 years now, and I've had only about 3 people, actually 4 people, try to use it. And I went back to simplex after so long because over in Plover, where I was originally from, nobody used it anymore. So eventually I went back to simplex, to hell with everybody else. I come here and I moved to the town I'm in now, and I got somebody that's using it all the time. Well, we've got an issue between me and him. There's another video on that. But so anyways, I couldn't hear him. Well, actually, he couldn't hear me. I was in the basement. I don't want to run high power. I run a stock crap antenna on my radio here. So he couldn't hear me even on high power. And so I needed a way for him to be able to hear me. I was able to hear him because his radio automatically goes on high, but I bullshit on it all day long. I kill my radios before the end of the day. So I have to have other radios. And so I keep a set of 888s on hand, and sometimes I don't program in high power into those things. I usually just leave them in low, so they don't go back out as well neither. So the reason why we don't actually market a duplexed version is because duplexers are hard to get tuned. The prices will vary all the time, so we can't base off of one price what's going on right now versus 6 months from now. It might be a different price. It could be more, it could be less, you never know. There's not a steady flow of programmed repeaters or duplexers. So in order for me to hear that guy, in order for him to hear me, that's why I put the duplexer in line. Now, I talked and he talks to this radio, and we both listen to this. The audio automatically goes into the sound card here. I guess I am just sitting on the floor, and goes up to the Raspberry Pi that's just kind of dangling here in the background. So that's what makes it a repeater. This is not a repeater. It is a simplex node, thus the SN. And this will work without the internet, but you got to get somebody to use it first. A lot of people want to get their family into this, and kudos to you if you can. My experience with my family and a lot of people on the network's family, they don't want to use this shit. So, they put it in a repeater, they waste their money on all this extra shit to still just talk to the network. And that's what you want to waste your money on, go for it. I mean, there's people out there paying fucking subscription fees to repeater networks out there that I would never do. I mean, that's just personally. We don't charge a subscription fee. We charge for the hardware. We charge for a little bit of our labor time on making these things, because they do take some time to critique and get them to working right and test. But once you're in there, you're lifetime. The network has been around for 4 years, or almost 4 years, and we're not going anywhere. If I decide to step down, there are people that are willing to take my place and run it exactly the way I am. We are truly a freedom of speech network. We don't take no shit from nobody. We like to talk what's on our mind. So if this is something that you're interested in, like I say, start with a Radio Box SN. There's no need for all this until you can actually prove to yourself that there's going to be somebody using it. And if you plug it in and you get somebody that's going to use it, great. We could always help you in how to upgrade to this setup versus this setup. It's not hard to take 2 more wires, take 3 from this and run it to another radio. That's all it is. There's 3 wires on this radio, there's 3 wires on this radio, there's 5 going into this. You need a common ground between the 2 radios to make it work. And we're here to help you with that if you get somebody else using it. I mean, I wouldn't jump the bat and get this. That's why we don't produce it, is because you jump the gun and you get this, and then you're going to be sitting there with all this, and you paid freaking $400 for it, and who are you talking to? The same people that you talk to on this. Well, thanks for watching this morning. I'm going to post this, so hopefully it goes onto the Facebook and YouTube there. If you guys got any questions, feel free to comment.